then to the Global eCricket Premier League brought to you by JetSynthesys. Four exhilarating games today. We have seen a 70-plus target being chased down in that last game. You're up for the last game for the day at least, where the New York Apes are ready to take on the Sydney Panthers. Remember, Sydney come back after that game which they had earlier on. But now again, it's a new test and we're all ready then. But again, New York Apes here have had a decent start. You know, they also went to the top of the table. But then there has been a slight downward spiral.
Yeah, I mean, New York, according to the schedule, I mean, they always get the last match of the day for the last 4 days. They've lost the last two games of the day. जब भी आखिरी game इनको मिलता है, वो दोनों मैच हार जाते हैं. वो दोनों मैच हारे हैं वो इनफैक्ट. तो आज उनको ये उम्मीद रहेगी कि ये भी एक आखिरी मैच है दिन का. So they win this game. But Sydney, you know, they did not start the day well. They lost to Kolkata in the first game. This is their chance to redeem themselves. आप नहीं चाहेंगे कि अगर आप 2 मैचेस खेल रहे हैं दिन में तो आप वो दोनों मैचेस हारे. So it's going to be a big matchup for both sides, New York and Sydney.
Well, New York, of course, come after 2 losses. Remember that against Mumbai and Dubai, respectively. They lost against Dubai by 4 wickets, which will be a jolt to their hopes. And that's how the predictions look right for now. Well, glad to have got 2 from Kips and myself. But again, like it's a mix and match every day that we have out here. We try to bring you all the most accurate predictions from our end. But again, we are surprised, especially if you see the last couple of games that have unfurled in the GEPL. Now, again, we go forward with that last game for the day where all have predicted New York. We'll have to wait and watch if it turns out in our favor, or will we have another red liner against all our names for that match? Now, again, Sharks, you talk about the likes of the Panthers, then they also come back after this last game that they've had. I think they're having the calculations on saying that, look, we lost the last game against Kolkata, but here we are again. We need to start afresh.
Yeah, both teams on 4 points at the moment. New York की last victory पहले दिन आई थी. हम day 4 पे हैं. Like Chennai, they won on day 1 of the tournament, but they did win 2 matches that day. Day 2 पे वो हारे, day 3 पे वो हारे. देखना होगा day 4 पे क्या होता है. Sydney, obviously last 4 matches में पहला मैच हारे, second match जीते, third match जीते और फिर 4th match हारे. So both teams in the same boat in terms of points, but they would want a change in fortunes.
A change in fortunes can come in if they really fire every time they're there on the field, on the pitch, if I may say, and on the phone, of course. And that's how the New York Apes would look like. Certainly, they have the likes of Jitu and JD who they actually want to fire. And then they have somebody like a Razin as well who can come in very handy.
Yeah, absolutely. Razin has been a great player for them. An all-rounder. Neta, Neta ji, he's picked up 2 wickets as well. 5 गेंदबाजों का उन्होंने इस्तेमाल किया है. और फिर से वही बात मैं कहूँगा, किसी का भी इकोनॉमी 12 से कम का नहीं है. So they would be thinking, you know what, we need to improve on that economy rate. However, there are few good performers with the bat. You look at Kamal, who's their brute player. He opens the innings, he drops anchor, a strike rate of 221. And there is obviously Jitu. He has a strike rate of 200 as well.
And on the other end, of course, Sydney will be looking forward to get a victory before they end this day here today. And again, will make that points table pretty interesting. Sydney there, Pradyumna, their best hope as always. Azan has to fire, but they'll also be dependent on the likes of Saurabh to give them those runs on board as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at Azan because he was out for a duck in the first game today. He would want to add to his 52 runs. He's been very important for them opening the innings. Very, very valuable player. A strike rate in excess of 200. But I'm looking at Pradyumna because he gives them good starts, gets going, gives them a base for them to build on. He's going to be crucial once again.
Talk about the players on either sides who will be important to get this game in favor of themselves. But again, we have also spoken about the toss factor earlier on. I mean, irrespective of the toss, their guns need to fire.
Oh, absolutely. 71 runs for Pradyumna, and we have talked about him. He's their anchor. He's their best batsman. Strike rate is good as well. He's not hitting too many sixes, so he's mapping the Melbourne ground and saying, okay, you know what? I'm going to run hard. I'm going to get boundaries. लेकिन अगर आप जीतू से compare करें, ये उनका 5वां match रहेगा. 54 runs so far. He has been striking the ball hard. I think he is the highest run getter for New York Apes. Yes, he is. And he will be the player to watch out for in that New York lineup.
Pradyumna and Jitu there for the respective teams of their Panthers didn't really have the kind of start they've wanted in this tournament. But again, it's a mix and match when you talk about the kind of efforts which they have given. It's all about who performs this. And we've been telling this time and again because that's how things have actually unfolded in this contest. We have another one, the fifth one for the day 4. Let's go for the toss where we have Neeraj along with the captains and the umpires.
Dosto, and thank you so much, Roshan and Chetan, for that expert pre-match analysis. Now, before the toss, I would like to call upon stage New York Apes and Sydney Panthers.
Competition in the competition. I came from the bottom and we winning. Sunday in the competition in a heat. We came from the bottom and we winning. There ain't no competition. कोई नहीं मुकाबला. From the bottom निकला top डाला पैसा तो मुनाफा माँ पे गाली सीधा लाफा. रैप द नाका सुनते बांग्ला मुझे थाका मैं. 5 स्टार के कपड़े पहन के खाता मैं हूँ धाबे पे. Streams हो या dreams पूरा कामयाब मैं. कोहली वाला mindset और धोनी जैसा शाप मैं. हर पब में जी और गेम है मेरे हाथ में. हंसता सीधा बैंक तक 50 वाले लाफ में. हा 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 भाई तू है वीक.
Mania is here. Maniacs wanted.
Piyush, here I was just on lenskart. ये जो price है $999, right?
नहीं करण रुपीज है.
I can't be seen wearing glasses under 1 lakh. Price थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो सकता है क्या?
करण ये बढ़िया प्राइस है. It's only because we don't have middlemen.
90,000.
आप कहीं और से ले लो.
80,000.
I'm going. Bye.
अमीरों की हाई लगेगी तुझे.
Factory wale prices, no middlemen. Lenskart. Download the app.
लेकिन ये पाइप चलेगा.
finolex pipes. पीढ़ियां बदलेंगी, पाइप नहीं.
साथ है जगदीश कुमार, कैप्टन न्यूयॉर्क एप्स, एंड अक्षत कौंडाल, कैप्टन सिडनी पैंथर्स. दोनों टीम्स 4 मैचेस खेल चुके हैं एंड 4 में से दे हैव won 2 मैचेस. बोथ ऑफ देम आर eyeing for that 3rd victory today. With that, I would like to call the umpire on stage for the toss. A big round of applause for both the teams. Captains, who's going to take the call? Okay, आज जगदीश करेंगे for the new. Jagdish has decided to give it to Akshat. Okay, Sydney Panthers will be taking the call.
Tails.
They have gone for tails and heads it is. The Apes have won the toss. Jagdish,
We will bowl first.
you will bowl first. Okay, great. Any strategy behind that? Q?
अभी थोड़ा प्रेशर था क्योंकि हम लोग 2 फर्स्ट बैटिंग में मैच हार चुके हैं. तो जो पहले की प्लानिंग थी हमारा जैसे कि सबको पता है कि हमारी बैटिंग बहुत स्ट्रांग है.
Yeah.
लेकिन फर्स्ट बैटिंग में अभी तक हम लोग पूरी तरीके से सेटल हुए नहीं है. तो हमारा पहला टारगेट है कि हम लोग टॉप 4 में क्वालिफाई करें.
Okay.
उसके बाद में फर्स्ट बैटिंग करके अपने आप को
बिल्कुल.
ठीक करेंगे.
तो जो चल रहा है उसे बिगाड़ना नहीं है, वो चलते जाए. Great. Okay. ये दीजिए. All the very best. अक्षत, बैटिंग करोगे?
करनी पड़ेगी.
करनी पड़ेगी. Any strategy? क्या है going into the team? You know that Apes are a very strong team. Also a little more experienced that way. क्या उनको टैकल कैसे करोगे?
ट्राई करेंगे कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा स्कोर बनाएं. 70 या इतना जितना इनका बैटिंग स्ट्रांग है 70 तक तो देखना पड़ेगा जितना इनका बैटिंग स्ट्रांग है.
70 तो कम से कम, that's the aim.
कम से कम.
Great, yeah. चलो, all the very best, Akshat. A big round of applause for both the teams. The New York Apes have won the toss and they have decided to bowl. Now over and out to my expert analysts.
The captain of the New York Apes winning the toss and choosing to bowl, which has become a common template now in the GEPL so far, because making them a safe contender. New York Apes really won those points, and we'll have to wait and watch if Sydney Panthers can allow them to do that, or will it be the Panthers with the 2 points. We're all ready for the game then. We have Floki and Cripps calling the shots.
Pulsar Mania is here. Maniacs wanted.
अब आगे कुछ भी हो सकता है.
All flights to remain grounded. जो खुद की सुनते हैं, दुनिया उनकी सुनती है. लेंसकार्ट आकड़ है.
लेकिन ये पाइप
चलेगा।
फिनोलेक्स पाइप्स, पीढ़ियां बदलेंगी, पाइप नहीं।
Ladies and gentlemen, देवी और सज्जनों और हमारे सारे दर्शकों का एक बार फिर से स्वागत है JetSynthesys presents the Global E-Cricket Premier League में। मैं हूं फ्लोकी, मेरे साथ है क्रिप्स और ये चौथे दिन का पांचवा और आखिरी गेम आ चुका है जो खेला जाएगा न्यूयॉर्क एप्स और सिडनी पैंथर्स के बीच में। क्रिप्स, न्यूयॉर्क एप्स के जो पिछले मैचेस थे इतने अच्छे नहीं गए हैं, लेकिन सिडनी पैंथर्स भी आज अपना मैच हारते हुए एंड I don't think it's a start that or a title that either of these teams wanted, but the good news is at least one of these teams will be walking away with a one match under their belt.
Finally, right? I mean, both of them needed a win since a very long time. At least New York Apes का starting का record तो थोड़ा ज़्यादा अच्छा था, लेकिन Sydney Panthers, man, they've been falling flat on their faces. In fact, अगर आपने आज सुबह का मैच देखा रहेगा Sydney Panthers का, one might think कि हाँ यार, ये मैच तो जीत सकते हैं.
Yeah.
लेकिन फिर एंड में उनको भी हार का सामना करना ही पड़ा.
Certainly, I mean, it was a lot rougher than they would have liked, but you know what? I mean, you're going up against the Kolkata Hawks, it's gonna happen. So,
it is bound to happen, yeah.
Certainly, I mean, they could have put a bit more elbow grease on it and maybe it would have been different, but hey, you know, you can't be thinking about spilled milk. You have a new game on your hands and you have to focus on it. Razan, going to be the opening bowler here for the side of the New York Apes, and as always, they start with their off spinner, Zan Pradyuman. Going to be batting here for the side of the Sydney Panthers. Two, again, consistent batsmen, but today and yesterday the performance has been somewhat lacking.
Definitely. At least for Sydney Panthers, they rely a little too much on Azan and Pradyumna.
Yeah.
I guess it's about time they start taking some pressure off of their shoulders and everyone else starts bearing the responsibility of the run target themselves.
Yeah, and well, Azan read that as a wide, but such was not the case. Instead, it's just going to be a dot ball. Each dot ball is costly in the first few overs. That is high up in the air.
No
Got
way.
by the fielder. The New York Apes stop things off the bank. Azan has been taken out on the third ball of the game, and that's a lenskart out.
That's a devastating loss for the side of Sydney Panthers. I just spoke about how they rely on Azan too much. And now he's out once again. The first few games which he played for Sydney Panthers, he posted phenomenal scores. But after that, it's just been disappointment after disappointment.
Oh, and that's another high shot. High toss, and boundary will not be found, but thankfully neither will the catch. So, yeah, the Sydney Panthers was almost an ominous warning of what's to come if they keep lofting these balls. But hey, that one's a runner. That one's found the boundary for a four. And the Sydney Panthers finally find their footing.
Powerful pulsar boundary. I really hate to be ominous, but this is becoming quite obvious. They really love going for those cover shots and the mid-wicket shots.
And if it's not broke, don't fix it. I guess that's another four coming through for the Sydney Panthers, recovering after a slow start.
Good placement.
Yeah.
Sending it towards fine leg. A rather difficult shot to attempt that one. Especially since the bowler has been changing up their spin patterns. Now that J2 is coming, Chetan needs to be careful. Both of them having their first balls. And batting, of course.
Yeah. And J2. Oh, that is gonna be a catch. Beautiful.
Amazing, dude.
New York Apes.
We have seen so many of these kind of catches before where the fielder has to go for a dive and he just manages to save the boundary. But this time he does more than that. He actually takes the wicket. And the timing window for such a catch is excruciatingly small. It's barely a pixel wide. So for J2 to get the timing right on such a difficult catch is nothing short of a miracle. Absolutely beautiful performance.
Oh, and that's another high toss. Sydney Panthers really not playing things close to the chest. This time around it's a boundary, but you keep playing those shots sooner or later. The Apes will catch up with you. Be privy to your ways, and Sydney Panthers already bleeding, hurting here in the first two overs.
Bleeding, hurting, hemorrhaging. All the signs of a not so healthy batting start, but maybe things can take a turn for the better. They move on to greener pastures and they send the ball across that green boundary.
Oh yeah. I have to say, this is some terrific batting coming out here from the Sydney Panthers, had it not been for the wickets.
There's always a catch, isn't it?
There's always a catch. And well, it's going to be another 4 going their way, and they do need it, especially after the way things started for them. But I have to say, good recovery from the Panthers, stabilizing after those 2 wickets, but this could simply just be J2 playing with their minds. But no, they are mentally strong on the side of the Sydney Panthers. They do not let the Apes get to their heads. And even though they're down 2 wickets, they are up by a significant number of runs. And all you can do at the moment, as the outed batsman, is sit there, watch, pray and cheer.
Pray for Pradyumna. He is the savior, the messiah. Once again, it's in the air.
Wow.
And he's gone for his 5th consecutive boundary. What a powerful over. Such a mixed bag. You got a wicket in the first ball itself, and then after that, it's been boundaries upon boundaries and multiple instances of the pulsar 4 ringing true.
And just to add on to that, Cripps, earlier today we saw that the London Rhinos, on the back of a very impressive performance by Tejas, managed to clinch out the win against the Delhi Sharks, who had set up a really good target. But the Sydney Panthers, it seems like they're no slouches either. Pradyumna has gotten 30 runs off of 8 balls, and if I'm not wrong, I believe Tejas scored something similar. I believe he had 37 or 38 off of 11 balls.
Now, those are some heavy carry performances.
Yeah.
Their backs are going to be hurting after doing this much carrying. Lifting the weight for the entire team. Just shouldering all of the responsibility.
Yeah. And again, I do not mind the score at all. Akshu saying that, hey, you know what? I'm just going to bat defensively. I'm not going to attempt those boundaries just yet, because that'd be a waste of all the effort Pradyumna has done and put in.
A double acquired once again. Putting Akshu back on strike. And yes, even though Akshu has been one of the more defensive batsmen, he is an opportunistic one. It's not like he doesn't go for boundaries. He just takes his sweet time with it. And when it comes to time, Sydney Panthers have plenty of that. We are just two overs and 2 balls in. What they don't have enough of are wickets.
Yeah. Prudence and patience is the name of the game. We'll see if Sydney Panthers possess those qualities.
Yeah. Prudence, patience, and just occasionally, a slight taste of power.
Yeah. Best not to get drunk on it, though. I feel like the Rhinos could give you an entire discourse on what that is. Best to learn from their mistakes, but again, while that shot was good, the fielder was there towards point, and I mean, the decision by G2 to put a fielder there is really paying off.
Yeah, and it's not just the fielder that he's changed up. He's also changed up his stance.
Yeah.
Bowling around the wicket this time. He's got the wicket keeper, an extra slip, and a person towards third man.
The fielding position has changed. The offside was wide open, but there was not enough power behind that ball. So even though Pradyumna read that change up very well, just didn't really hit it to score a boundary.
Hey, but at least he tried to go for a cover drive rather than playing towards third man once again, where he knows there's an extra fielder. And this time the cover drive finds its mark, finds the gap.
Oh, yeah. And I was a little confused as to why G2 would leave that entire cover and third man side open. There's so much space there between the 2 outer fielders. And when the brute is still in play, you want to try and cover all your bases instead of leaving these gaps that Pradyumna can certainly tread. But with that said, I can't really blame G2. it was a bit of a difficult task to control Pradyumna, who's been a terrific batsman. Oh, that is a clean ball. Straight to the stumps, the mind game's coming through.
I can't even say that was a Durghatna Hati, Nazar Hati, Durghatna Hati moment. He positioned himself far away from the tower.
Yeah, that was a prediction shot coming through. He believed that he was going to go for a dot there, but no.
Yeah, he thought it would spin away from the stumps or something like that, but no, it was rather straight.
Yeah, and again, he's balling towards that center stump in case you notice, and I think the batsman are going to pick up on that. That is going to be close, but nonetheless, they make it across line and will be safe. Saurabh will find the two.
Saurabh also is one of their more reliable batsmen. That just is one of the characteristics of these balanced batsmen, you know. They don't even try half the time to go for some really strong shots. Even this time, a flick of the wrist towards square leg. One of the most common shots we've seen in the GEPL so far.
And hey, you know what? If they can cross 15 before the end of this over, I think they're going to be very, very happy.
We said the same when we saw a target of 70 in the previous game. I think 50 is a little too little.
Oh, okay, but that certainly is a massive shot. And another 4 going the way of the Sydney Panthers is, I have to say, the New York Apes certainly not anticipating that the Sydney Panthers will still be so bold. You'd imagine that they'd play a bit more conservatively, but the Panthers are just unfazed, staring straight into the abyss.
But what happens when the abyss stares back?
Well, they say we've got the eyes of the tiger. Bring it on.
Well, not really the best moment to mention eyes over there when he just missed the ball. But at least he didn't lose his wicket.
Yeah.
He still got a sane head on him. And a helmet on top of it.
Certainly. And Netha, I mean, this has been an otherwise very impressive over from him. But again, beautiful shot selection. Recognizing the fact that point is completely open, and that's another 6 as the Panthers continue to deliver. They lost 2 wickets in the power play overs, but they did not let that stop them from hitting those boundaries, and Pradyumna and Saurabh are the men to thank.
Saurabh definitely saw the impacting of the ball and could predict that it would be a reverse swing straight towards the stumps. So all he has to do is take a step back, position himself, and lift that ball into oblivion, send it flying.
Oh, another one! Wow. Another one that's going to get caught. Pradyumna will be taken out, but man, has he done some work for his team. 36 runs scored off of 11 balls. And you know what? You can't blame him for that. I think he's definitely rivaling Tejas's performance today from earlier.
Exactly. Pradyumna could very well be the saving grace for Sydney Panthers. Lifting his team so heavily that he's contributed to more than 70% of the runs that his team currently has.
Yeah. But I have to say, JD, like a superhero, has swooped in to try and save the New York Apes from certain defeat. And that wicket has certainly helped them take a bit of a breather.
You know, this day has been quite funny for the both of us, Floki.
Yeah.
We always find similar names facing against each other.
Indeed.
JD is bowling. Soon JP will be on strike. Hopefully.
Hopefully. But we'll see if that's the case, as that is completely left here by the batsman. Reading that as a wide, and the umpire will grant it.
Well, maybe JD getting a little too ahead of himself. He did get a wicket on his first ball, so
yeah,
still great.
But you really can't fault him for that, given the way, the overs have played out. Good bowling from JD here, making it very clear that, hey, I'm unfazed. You want to hit those boundaries, go for it. I'm going for your stumps. Fight fire with fire. Again, stump is completely open, but the mind game's coming through. Good swing on that ball.
Yeah, that swing was violent, bro. I mean, his swings actually are quite dangerous. He's got 2 dot balls in a row, and you don't see that very often. Maybe the third time could be the charm.
Oh, that is higher. That is stronger. And as a result, will be caught. JD finding his second wicket, and that is going to be all the players on the side of the Sydney Panthers taken out here, courtesy of New York Apes' bowling. But the question is, was it too little too late? And I feel like the answer might be no, because the New York Apes are certainly nothing to scoff at when they are batting.
The Apes.
All new Pulsar Mania's here. Maniacs wanted. lenskart. Download the app.
लेकिन ये पाइप चलेगा।
finolex pipes. पीढ़ियां बदलेंगी, पाइप नहीं।
They've got that brute monkey strength.
Yep.
And I mean, according to the animal kingdom anthropomorphology, I mean, the apes are the only ones with opposable thumbs. So technically, they should be the only ones capable of playing cricket.
Yeah.
Most other animals don't even have arms.
Yeah, they can certainly bowl. Oh, wow. Okay, are we starting things off with a 6? Yes, we are. All that the fielder could do was watch from the Sydney Panthers. And the Apes say, well, you're good batsmen, but you don't have much on us.
Batsmen ban gaye audience. Audience ban gaye fielders.
Yeah. Chetan. Oh, ये ओवर की शुरुआत ऐसे तो बिल्कुल नहीं करना चाहते, लेकिन क्या कैच होने वाला है? नहीं. Close. Very close here.
जब भी चेतन बॉल डालते हैं, जेडी वापस से सेम टाइप का शॉट अटेम्प्ट कर रहे हैं. इस बार टाइमिंग थोड़ी ऑफ हो गई, इसलिए ये बॉल इतना दूर गया नहीं. प्लस चेतन ने भी थोड़ा स्लो बॉल डाला था. But he really likes that third man area, doesn't he?
He certainly does. JD, after having scored that 6, is going to be very clear in the mindset that, hey, 1-6 in the power play over is enough. Now it's just about expanding on that. Slowly, steadily. Not really trying to score another boundary, because holding on to your wickets is very important.
Oh. And that's exactly why.
Swingers like those.
Yeah. Kamal did play on the front foot, but if he had it once, it could have been an opportunity for a stumping.
But again, you have to give credit over here to JD, who's done a lot of work. And well, Kamal will say, thank you very much, my friend. You indeed do a lot of work. Let me chip in too. And that's going to be a Pantsar showstopper 4.
He indeed did chip in. Just chip the ball with the edge of his bat. Great square cut. And it goes for the boundary.
Well, 13 runs in the first over. That ball is high. And over the fine leg boundary as it goes for the 6. And you can see the Panthers are not too happy.
That was one of the longest 6s as well. It didn't land on the green. It landed
in the stands.
Yeah, in the stands. Probably on the head of one unfortunate member of the audience. Luckily, virtual balls and pixels don't really hurt.
That does make me wonder. I do wonder if there's ever been an injury in cricket when somebody hit a 6 and...
Oh, several.
We just don't hear about them, do we?
Nah.
Cover-ups. Well, that's the beauty about this game. Nobody gets hurt. Even if you hit them straight in the chest, straight in the head, does not matter.
I had a friend once who went to a stadium, got hit. And you know what? He had no complaints.
Yeah?
He considered himself lucky.
Lucky to be alive or lucky to be hit in the head?
Lucky that some part of his body came in indirect contact with Bumrah. So,
yeah, that is very specific. Shout out to your friend. But the Sydney Panthers do seem to be recovering. JP with some stellar balls so far.
I want to see what happens when JP bowls to JD. We've had plenty of such opportunities to set up jokes like these before, haven't we, Floki? We've seen Saurabh versus Saurabh.
Yep.
JP versus JD.
Oh, wow. Beautiful shot selection. This time around, Cripson I don't believe that was intended to be a 4, but because it wasn't really hit with a lot of power, but it's just a shot selection that did all the work for him, and the fact that he hit it as soon as the ball bounced, giving it all the more power.
Exactly. Advanced a little ahead, played that pull shot.
Oh my God, and that's another beautiful boundary coming through here for the New York Apes. The fielder really tried to reach that one, but there was no chance. He was getting to that as Kamal continues to deliver.
Leans towards his leg side. Lifts the ball so high up in the air. I was almost nervous that it might be a catch out if it had that much elevation.
Yep. I believe except for the Kolkata Hawks and the London Rhinos today, New York Apes is the only team that is consistently able to chase down higher target runs. They are a team that can really bat. But as always, it's contingent on them not losing those wickets, because there have been quite a few moments where some of their members have been ambitious and lost a couple of wickets earlier than they should have.
Hey, I think this is good enough. You've still got both your opening batsmen alive at the end of the power play, and they've been hitting a good amount of boundaries. That is impressive indeed. 29 runs needed off of 19 balls. Seems like a possible enough target if the New York Apes don't get ahead of themselves.
Yeah. The 3 overs still remaining. There's still so much that you can do because they're yet to lose the wicket, like Cripps mentioned. And well, at this pace, they should be able to close in on the target in no time. 18 balls. Well, the number of runs required is not that high.
Required run rate also dropping below double digits. Definitely a green flag for the New York Apes. Oh, that's what happens when you give them a full toss. They send it back in, all the way across, and that's a powerful pulsar 4.
Oh, yeah. And this is the beauty of the Brute. In most situations, this would have been a catch-out by the inside fielder, but not when the Brute times it right.
Not when the ball is soaring at about 130 kilometers an hour.
Certainly not. And Zan, oh, good bowling there. I have to say, good idea by Kamal as well to send it backing towards point there, but again, just mistiming that shot. Yeah, well, the stumps have been left open, but they've been left open for a reason. That ball has crossed the boundary. And unless you're Superman, you're not catching that one.
Or Hancock.
Or Hancock. Or Omni-Man. Or Invincible.
Basically any dude who can jump really high.
Yeah.
Or fly.
Or Spider-Man. You yoink it out of the air.
Oh. Wouldn't that be cheating though?
It would be. We need new rules for superhero cricket.
What if you just laser the ball and destroy it?
I think that would be a technical foul. You can't have a game without a ball, so destroying the ball would be weird, but
way too high.
Another 6 coming through. The New York Apes just cannot stop hitting these boundaries, and that's a Pulsar NS125 showstopper.
NS125? More like the ball traveling 125 feet. That was a powerful one.
Certainly. And except for the boundaries, this over has been quiet, but Azan gonna try and redeem himself.
Nice!
No, is that gonna get caught? Yes, it is.
About time someone kills Kamal. Yeah. Almost got a 40 bomb over there. 39 in 13 balls. I know my math is poor, but I can calculate that that is a strike rate of 300.
Yeah.
A record high so far.
And I have to say, all the Brute batsmen today have been averaging closer or above to 3 runs per ball. I think Tejash from the London Rhinos, there was one player from the Delhi Sharks, and now it seems like the Brute batsman for the side of the New York Apes is going to be joining those ranks as well. Come on, excuse me. In fact, there might have been more than 3. I think Pradyuman dropped 30 in a matter of just a couple of balls.
I know, right? But that's the thing. When it comes to Pradyuman, his team relies on his performance way too much. Kamal can still win his game, the team, even if he doesn't score a 30 bomb or a 40 bomb.
Yeah. And it is definitely a little bit difficult when not all the batsmen have that great of a read on the bowlers. as the Brute does, but you can see the required run rate just starting to drop, and with that, the hearts of the Panthers also sinking.
What? Okay, I did not think that would go in that direction, but
breaking the laws of physics. But I think it hit the edge there. I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
On a screens, it looked like it connected to the middle of the bat, but yeah, the game disagrees.
We'll have to ask Brazil after this one.
Certainly will. Oh!
I think the decision to come ahead and try to go for that reverse sweep was the wrong one over there. Ball a little too short for all of that.
Yeah. Well, attempting straight drives is also going to be a difficult choice, because you have to remember it is a little bit longer towards the long on and long off sides. But hey, you know what? Time to go bear mode. Hibernation. Just enough to sustain yourself. 2 runs per ball. If you average that, you're in the green. Not even 2, in fact, just 1 run per ball. And yeah, well, he definitely did not intend for the ball to go there, but he'll take it.
No, so the intention was to send it towards third man, which is still fine. It goes towards fine leg. Similar approach. But that swing on the ball, it made me wonder whether it would connect to the bat at all or not. And the length also was more along the lines of Yorker length. So it does become extremely difficult to scoop your ball like that.
Yeah. It's like it's going to be Akshu now stepping onto the field from the side of the Panthers, and fast medium has a lot of responsibilities on his shoulders.
He's got the weight of the entire game upon him. 5 runs needed in 6 balls. The captain, Akshat Kundal, has to live up to his name.
Not only does he have to deal with the fact that he needs to ball dots, he also has to deal with the fact that there are more wickets in play, and the Apes can't just start recklessly swinging. If they like, they certainly have the liberty of at least 1 ball to do that, so mind games are going to be heavy. Akshu, let's see what his goal is. Oh no, what? What? No way on earth that should have happened. What the hell was the inside fielder doing there? He stood around and let the ball whiz right past him.
That's a premature ending.
Yeah, and the New York Apes, I mean, what on earth did I just witness?
You just witnessed a stylish way to finish this game, my friend. They don't want to wait for the last ball. They don't want to extend this game any further than required. It's the last game of day 4, and they want to pack it up early and get a good amount of sleep to prepare for the next day. They have a long road ahead of them.
Yeah, beautiful batting coming through here from both sides, but ultimately the New York Apes show why they are the better batsmen today. And again, the Brutes really showing what they're made of. These sets of games, but that's going to be the last one for today, folks. The New York Apes against the Sydney Panthers. And that's going to be the end of this match. We'll be back with the interviews, though, after a very short break.
Mania is here. Maniacs wanted.
lenskart. Download the app now.
लेकिन ये पाइप चलेगा।
finolex pipes. पीढ़ियां बदलेंगी, पाइप नहीं।
जेडी का जज्बा और कमल के कमाल ने आज न्यूयॉर्क एप्स को जिता दिया। अ बिग राउंड ऑफ अप्लॉज फॉर द न्यूयॉर्क एप्स। कैप्टन जी आइए। हाउ यू फीलिंग नाउ?
अच्छा लग रहा है, वापस थोड़ा ट्रैक पे आए हैं तो अच्छा ही लग रहा है।
या आज के परफॉर्मेंस के बारे में बताइए एंड योर पार्टनरशिप विद कमल।
कमल तो पहले से हमारा सबसे इम्पैक्ट प्लेयर था, हमें पता ही था। इसने मतलब एक मैच हम लोग हारे हैं मुंबई के अगेंस्ट, उसमें भी उसने 5 बाउंड्रीज बैक टू बैक मारी थी। और पहले मैच में भी उन्होंने अच्छा ही खेला। सेकंड मैच में जो चेन्नई के साथ था उसमें भी उन्होंने ही फिनिश किया था। और शायद वो मोस्ट रन गेटर में सेकंड या थर्ड नंबर पे भी पहुंच गए हैं।
बिल्कुल, तो लाइक एन ऑलराउंडर एंड अ वेरी कंसिस्टेंट प्लेयर।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। बाकी टीमों के ब्रूट चल रहे हैं, किसी टीम के किसी के नहीं भी चल रहे, लेकिन इन्होंने हमारे लिए हर मैच में रन बनाए, चाहे हम लोग हारे हो या जीते हैं। बिल्कुल।
Apart from that, obviously Kamal आइए। A big round of applause for Kamal. कमल, आप बताइए परफॉर्मेंस के बारे में।
मुझे बस सभी मैच में अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस देना है, टीम का ज़्यादा स्कोर हो, इसीलिए मैं एक ब्रूट प्लेयर लिया हूँ ना, इसीलिए तो अच्छा स्कोर कर लिए थोड़ा ट्राई करूँगा।
ग्रेट,
थैंक यू।
Congratulations कैप्टन, congratulations Kamal, thank you guys. This was match number 20 at JetSynthesys presents the Global eCricket Premier League. आज का लास्ट मैच था, बट अभी तक हम ये खत्म नहीं हुआ एपिसोड, ठीक है? प्लीज स्टे ट्यून नाउ। ओवर एंड आउट टू माय एक्सपर्ट एनालिस्ट रोशन एंड चेतन।
All new Pulsar Mania is here. Maniacs wanted.
lenskart. Download the app now.
लेकिन ये पाइप चलेगा।
finolex pipes, पीढ़ियां बदलेंगी, पाइप नहीं।
That another successful chase after what we just saw in that last game. New York Apes with another, well, emphatic victory, if I must say. Kamal to khil gaye. And talk about JD, jaw-dropping. Chetan, another incredible inning out there.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, 5 chases today. It's been a terrific day to win your toss, bowl first, and then chase down the target. But this was not an easy target. And you know what? New York Apes, they've been waiting and waiting and waiting for this next victory. पिछली victory जो इनकी थी वो day 1 पर आई थी. It's been a 3-day gap for them to get their next win. But finally, the points are on the table. 6 points for New York in some style.
Well, in some style is what New York Apes actually have got it. They needed the 2 points and they have got that convincingly. We'll have a look at, of course, the batting scorecard, that of New York. When you talk about the performance that they have had, well, again, Kamal, 39, incredible out of 13 balls. It's so important. JD did pretty well out there.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke in the pre-match that it was going to be a matchup between the brute players. I mean, Kamal is their brute player, and you have Pradyumna on the other side. When we look at the Sydney scorecard, you'll see how Pradyumna carried his team. So you needed a response from Kamal, and he's done the job for his team as well. He's been very consistent throughout. 39 of 13. They really wanted to chase it down in a hurry. All of them really batting well with high strike rates. 4.2 overs, 63 for 1. This is going to really help New York's run rate today.
Well, JD started with a 6 there, if you remember well, and a great first over there, getting almost 20, which really set the tone perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, and these two sides had very different starts. I mean, they scored 20 very, very quickly, made use of the power play. लेकिन अगर आप Sydney की batting देखेंगे अगर आप, तो Sydney lost a lot of wickets at the start. Azan out हो गए, Chetan out हो गए पहली ball पे. I'm sure I can't do any better. But Akshu, Neta ने उनको bold किया. Neta has been taking a lot of wickets. So they did not have a great start. But then it was Pradyumna who held it together, 36 of 11. And his knock was able to get them to 60 plus. And 60 plus on most days आपको लगेगा कि this is a good enough total. But that was not today.
Well, they had 2 quick wickets falling down the Sydney side eventually. But then again, what they got to 62 was incredible at the end of the day, because New York Apes there, well, you talk about JD getting 2 wickets as well, not just that effort from the bat.
Yeah, 2 for 3 for JD. He's an all-rounder, and you know what? So is Neta, so is Razeen, so is Jetu. Things haven't really come together for them in all their matches. और ये format ऐसा है, 5 overs. Obviously, it's a mobile game as well, the eCricket Premier League. So in that sense, it can be really unpredictable. But they have all been contributing with the bat and ball. Today, it all came together after 3 long days.
Well, Sydney's bowling there, of course, they will be asking themselves, look, we put New York eventually when they came down to bat, we had a task in hand, but then really well, I think it's just better batting of New York is what I feel.
Yeah, and you look at that score, 51 for 1. Just the one wicket that came really, really late. Azan usually bowls up top. I wasn't sure why he didn't do that today. They went for runs, not many wickets in there, and that tells you a story. Absolutely dominating performance from New York with the bat, and it reflects on that bowling card.
Well, and there, of course, we did speak about how the match went by New York Apes coming after a little slump there. So was Sydney. But remember, in the end, that's how the scoreline looked like. New York Apes chasing that with 4 wickets. A convincing victory there, no doubt. But again, a lot of personal, individual performances which really led them to there.
Yeah, I mean, Pradyumna will be happy with his contribution, but nothing much to write home about. I mean, Azan had a duck in the first game, 2 runs in this game, so he's been their batting mainstay earlier on. इसीलिए आज ये चीज़ काम नहीं की. It's been a disappointing day for Sydney Panthers. They started the day with a loss to Kolkata Hawks and now a loss to the New York Apes.
Well, then, of course, I'm sure you are anticipating who the man of the match will be. Letting you know just in a bit, because there it is, Kamal. Then we did mention about that incredible 39 runs. Again, 3 sixes and 5 fours. It's what really gets, especially when you're chasing. You have that little pressure in your mind. You talk about that, an incredible knock.
Yeah, you know what? New York were playing the last game of the day. I'm sure he had a lot of time to sit and think. और एक और एडवांटेज भी है कि इन्होंने पहला मैच देखा था सिडनी का, किस तरीके से कोलकाता ने सिडनी को हराया. So he had a lot of time to think, a lot of time to select his shots, how he's going to play the bowling. It all worked out in the end. 39, 300 strike rate, the man of the match performance from Kamal.
Well, it's been important, not just from an individual perspective, but for them to get partnerships, which they have had pretty much. New York, they had some fine partnerships going on. You talk about that first one, 51. We did see also some high-scoring partnerships today. This was certainly one of them.
I think that's been one of the best partnerships of the tournament. 51 of 18, that just takes away the game away from the opposition. आपके पास वापस आने का कोई मौका ही नहीं है. आप 60 और chase कर रहे हो. Opening partnership ने ही 51 बना दिए. There is no coming back from that. There is no wonder Sydney lost this game.
Well, but you also have to give to a fact that Sydney has really done well after they lost those quick wickets. It's showing that, well, they do have some flavor down there. Eventually, if you lose some quick wickets, they can still come back and get those runs. And of course, that is commendable, because you talk about 2 quick wickets and eventually coming out to score 60 or rather 60 plus. You see that 33 run with Pradyumna and Akshu there. Again, Pradyumna being that pick.
Yeah, he's been the pick. But again, you know, lack of big partnerships throughout the innings. Just one big partnership, which got half the runs of their total. But the start was really bad for them. 2 wickets down for just 12 runs. And that was just in 7 balls. So a poor start from Sydney, and it was very tough for them to recover from there. And, you know, that's the reason why they lost the game.
Pradyumna there being very clinical when it comes down to the things with the bat, remember. And that's what really matters. New York have really scored runs all across in that chase. We'll have a look at it at the batting, a pitch map then by New York as we look forward. Of course, that's a brilliant in-game feature which you see. We give you the batting pitch map as well. And of course, there it is. Well, the runs there, of course. You see the 4s and importantly, the 6s as well. Pretty much of the greens there.
Yeah, and you look at the white dots, you know, they've left a lot of the short boundaries. Good percentage of shots have come down the ground and square of the wicket. So they're not playing the short balls. I think that's a reason, because, you know, they lost the last 2 games trying to hook the ball, trying to pull the ball. So जो आज के जो targets आए हैं, आज के जो shots आए हैं, they have come down the ground, along the ground, and I think that has worked today for New York Apes against fast bowling. हमें देखना होगा कि क्या स्पिन में भी उन्होंने ये किया, क्योंकि स्पिन में आपको शॉर्ट डिलीवरीज इतनी नहीं मिलती हैं. तो स्पिन में उन्होंने क्या किया है, स्पिन में भी उन्होंने उसी तरीके से खेला है. They've tried to play, look at that, they've tried to play down the ground, and they've scored a lot more boundaries, that yellow dots. So it's been brilliant. Last 2 days, they've been able to strategize, go back to the drawing board, and figure out how they are going to play.
There it is. And of course, we did have the New York Apes there, of course, getting to do the bowling as well. I'm pretty sure from the opponent's perspective, some stat will really help you. When we look at the bowling pitch map of the New York Apes, then pretty much will tell you a story more of the offsides there.
Yeah, and look at those red dots all in a bunch. Just look at those red dots on the middle and the leg. बहुत ज़्यादा bunching up हो रही है वहाँ पे. They are bowling a particular line, whether it's spin, whether it's fast bowling. They are attacking the batsmen down the leg side, cramping them for room. And ये tactic जो है बहुत ज़्यादा common हो गई है. But at the same time, अगर ये काम कर रही है, तो it's fine. ये common भी होगी tactic. और न्यूयॉर्क के लिए आज ये tactic ज़रूर काम कर गई.
I've also seen a couple of full tosses which are being tossed away for 4s and 6s. But again, the more you lose runs in this game, it could be difficult for you. When we have a look at, of course, the wagon wheel where the runs have actually come from, I think, you know, there were runs which are scored eventually throughout the ground, but there have been certain segments or rather certain points where it has come down more.
And you look at that against the fast bowling at long off, 5.26%, long on 1.75%, or fine leg pe dekhiye, less than 10%. These are unique percentages. There is no other team which plays less than 10% towards fine leg off fast bowling. And there is no team which scores as high as 5% towards long off. This is a shift in strategy from the New York Apes, and it has certainly worked for them today.
That's more from, of course, fast bowling. But when you talk about the spin, then, well, the numbers could tell you a different story. No long off, no runs in long on, which means the spinners have pretty much got things tight.
Yeah, but look at that at square leg, look at that at mid wicket. And again, look at that point. 31% there, 40+% over here, and that's 70% of the runs. So they are maneuvering the spinners and playing down the ground against pacers, which has been brilliant to watch, and that has been truly effective in the win today.
The runs have really come in all directions majorly. Of course, it's also the strengths of the batters which have been utilized in the end. But also what more important it's about is that they got the runs on the board, they've got the victory, and that's what is important, carrying away the 2 points. Of course, now we've seen around 140 being scored in the last game. We did have 120 now being scored. We, of course, also tend to contemplate that there have been so many 4s and 6s there. Let's have a look at the 4s and 6s brought to you by Pulsar and S125 Showstopper. Then all the 4s and 6s coming out. Remember, we have had mammoth runs scored here today in the GEPL. And of course, when the runs have come in, so have a few wickets. But remember, we are talking about good quality bowlers taking some wickets. Let's have a look at the wickets brought to you by lenskart. Well, after London got those two crucial points with them, it's also the New York Apes who win that much needed 2 points in that bid to make it to the top four of that points table. We'll have a look, of course, at the points table of how things have been out there. A lot of shuffles, ups and down in the end. But what's more important is it's now getting very interesting with around, I think, out of the 8 teams, we have around 4 to 6 which are directly batting each other's.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting really busy at the top of the table. सारी टीमें 5-5 मैच खेल चुकी हैं. 2 टीमें टॉप पर हैं, कोलकाता हॉक्स, मुंबई ग्रिजलीज. मुंबई ग्रिजलीज आर द बेस्ट टीम इन द टूर्नामेंट, बट हॉक्स ने आज का दिन डे 4 पूरी तरीके से सीज किया. 2 मैच थे, दोनों मैच जीत लिए. दुबई वाइपर्स just about there. They have to sort out their batting and bowling, you know. 2 matches on the loss. I mean, last 3 games, they could have done so much more. And New York Apes, what they have done with this victory, they have kept pace at the top. So these 4 teams are setting the pace right now. Remember, the top 4 teams go into the knockouts.
Well, the knockouts is still far off. What the teams really have to do right now is put the pedal to the metal, do everything that they can to get the runs on board, take some wickets to take themselves to the top of the table. And that's what makes it more interesting, because every game, well, initially for the first couple of days when the players were knowing each other, they wanted to understand the patterns of each other's. And now comes a phase where every game is getting competitive. We have seen, of course, low scores being chased. We have seen high scores being chased. We have seen some tightly contested battle going down till the end, being an absolute cliffhanger, and this is what makes it more interesting. We'll have a look at the most runs out there, because there it is, Tejas there with 131. Well, I think miles away from what Manish and Pradyumna are.
Yeah, he stole a march with that last knock of his, and, you know, finally got those runs on the board. But yeah, Pradyumna, I think he's been really consistent today. And Delhi Sharks' loss has been Tejash's gain. He's gone at the top of the table, 131. Sarjan, he's been consistent. Manish, he's been very consistent. It's going to get tight over the next few days.
Well, the batters, they're having the better in their counterpart games, of course. But what's more important is playing as a team. And when we talk about that, the bowlers have also been very important. Mirdaji there, your personal favorite, Chetan. 7 wickets there, leading the chart.
And I think he's been very instrumental. अगर कोई player अकेला है जो कोलकाता को, वैसे तो कोई player अकेला नहीं ला सकता टीम को ऊपर, जैसे आपने कहा कि टीम एफर्ट चाहिए, लेकिन अगर कोई player है जो बहुत instrumental रहा है कोलकाता के आज के 2 victories के लिए, this is the guy, Mirdhaji. He's picking wickets at a regular, consistent pace. Manish, he's been consistent. Molan, he's been consistent. They've not been able to add too much to their tally today.
Well, wickets, especially when you're watching the games, you'll realize that it's tough to take the wickets. You really have to understand how would you go approach a batter there, and that is what makes a clever bowler. But again, talking about the batters hitting down, the shots out of the ground, remember when we play at Melbourne, it's a big ground, and scoring runs becomes interesting. There you have the likes of Vamsi, PK again adding to that roster, and Tejas, of course. So what an incredible outing he's had.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's the man of the tournament. That's the man of the moment, in fact, right there. 252 strike rate. He opens the innings, uses the power plays, anchors the innings after the power plays. He's leading the charts, 131 runs. At that strike rate, 252, that's been absolutely phenomenal from Tejas.
Well, the batters have done well, but you also speak about the bowlers there being exceptional in some cases, turning the game around for a lot of their teams as well, because that's how, of course, the economy looks like there. Davinder has been incredible then. Sachin, well, good with the bat and also with the bowl, which really makes him one of the most valued players down there for his team then.
Yeah, दविंदर के लिए आज का दिन थोड़ा ठीक नहीं रहा. उनकी इकोनॉमी पहले 7.5 की थी, अब 9 के ऊपर की हो गई है. विकेट्स आज उन्होंने ज़्यादा ऐड नहीं किए, but he gave away a few runs as well. But Saurabh, Davinder, I mean, Sydney didn't win the 2 games today. But if you're taking 4 wickets at that economy, that's been absolutely brilliant. This is a brilliant chart, brilliant chart, an economy of less than 10 and picking up very useful wickets.
Picking up very useful wickets. We have seen, well, a mix and match of so many runs and so many wickets being taken down there. And just the 4th day of the GEPL, brought to you by JetSynthesys. We had plenty of action in the last couple of days, and we promise you a lot more eventually in the coming few days. Remember, the league becomes more tighter, more competitive, and eventually making runs and also wickets in this favor. At the end of the day, what we seek is drama, entertainment from the eCricket, and it's delivering. For now, all that we have. Thank you so much for tuning in on JioCinema. Let's go to Neeraj.
Thank you, Roshan. Thank you, Chetan, for that expert analyst. दोस्तों, मैं हूं आपका होस्ट नीरज पुरन राव एंड दिस इज जेट सिंथेसिस प्रेजेंट्स द ग्लोबल ई क्रिकेट प्रीमियर लीग। आज हमने 5 शानदार मैचेस देखे जहां पे कोलकाता हॉक्स ने में से दोनों मैचेस जीतकर दे आर एट द टॉप ऑफ द टेबल। मुंबई ग्रिजलीज आर इन अ रेड हॉट फॉर्म एंड उन्होंने अपने लास्ट के 4 मैचेस जीत चुके हैं। लंदन ने आज लीग का हाईएस्ट रन चेस सेट किया एंड लंदन राइनोज के बैट्समैन तेजस महारा इज द लीग्स टॉप स्कोरर। Teams like Chennai and Dubai have to really think over their strategy because चल नहीं रहा है यार। ये GEPL है guys and competition is really heating up. आज officially we are done with 20 matches, day 4 and 20 matches. आज के लिए आज का चैप्टर खत्म हो चुका है but please stay tuned because हम ला रहे हैं आने वाले दिनों में और एक्शन और ड्रामा और ढेर सारा एंटरटेनमेंट। Guys, आप हमसे मिल सकते हैं on JioCinema 5 p.m. and new episodes dropping in daily at 5. Now, I would like to thank our sponsors, official sponsor, JetSynthesys, official partners, lenskart, Bajaj Pulsar, NS125, finolex pipe, fleetguard filtrum, and dhruvglobalschool. Strategic partners, Real Cricket 24, Sky Esports, and globalmusicjunction. Streaming partner, JioCinema, and broadcast partner, Sports 18. मैं हूं आपका होस्ट नीरज पुरन राव, signing off. This is GPL and the game is on.
तैयार हो दुनिया के सबसे बड़े ई क्रिकेट गेम रियल क्रिकेट 24 के लिए। JetSynthesys presents Global E-Cricket Premier League.
Excellent piece of fielding.
Oh, he's launched this superbly. देखो 8 जाबाज टीम्स को फाइटिंग फॉर ग्लोरी एंड 2.51 करोड़। जब रगों में दौड़े क्रिकेट का जोश और दिल में हो लव ऑफ esports. With real cricket, India gives e-cricket to the world.
बुला रहा है जीत का डिजिटल मैदान। Let's go!
Catch the action on JioCinema.
Mania's here. Maniacs wanted.
lenskart. Download the app now.
लेकिन ये पाइप चलेगा।
फिनोलेक्स पाइप्स, पीढ़ियां बदलेंगी, पाइप नहीं।
पूरा कामयाब मैं, कोहली वाला माइंडसेट और धोनी जैसा शाप में, हर पब में जी और गेम है मेरे हाथ में, हंसता सीधा बैंक तक 50 वाले लाफ में। हा 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 भाई तू है वीक और मैं लेता हफ्ता, खुद के तेरे हाथ नहीं तूने रखा चमचा, पूरा गैंग है ग्राइमी हा टॉप सीधा शॉट्स तेरे ब्रेन में, बॉम्बे द बैड मुंडा पंजाब तक कैंट में, नाम है डिवाइन पर बंदा नहीं हुसैन में, रिक्शा से निकला रोवर मेरे रेंज में, बैक बेंच वाले लड़के आए फ्रंट पेज पे, तू सड़क के महारानी के बेस में, मैं संजू बाबा वॉक करता हाथ रख के जेब में, देख ले खलनायक में और गुस्से वाला, फ्रैक्चर तेरा गैंग और मैं एम्बुलेंस में पहुंचने वाला। ना आज कोई है न कल कोई है, तेरे यार दा कोई कंपटीशन नहीं, ना आज कोई है न कल कोई है, तेरे यार दा कोई कंपटीशन नहीं, कंपटीशन नहीं from the bottom and we winning, Sunday in no competition नहीं, we came from the bottom and we winning, there ain't no competition, कोई नहीं मुकाबला, from the bottom निकला टॉप डाला पैसा तो मुनाफा, माँ पे गाली सीधा लाफा, रैप द नाका सुनते बांग्ला मुझे थाका मैं, 5 स्टार के कपड़े पहन के खाता मैं हूँ ढाबे पे, स्ट्रीम्स हो या ड्रीम्स पूरा कामयाब मैं, कोहली वाला माइंडसेट और धोनी जैसा शाप में हर पब में जी और गेम है मेरे हाथ में हंसता सीधा बैंक तक 50 वाले लाफ में हा भाई तू है वीक और मैं लेता हफ्ता खुद के तेरे हाथ नहीं तूने रखा चमचा पूरा गैंग है ग्राइमी हा टॉप सीधा शॉट्स तेरे ब्रेन में बॉम्बे दा बैड मुंडा पंजाब तक कैंट में नाम है डिवाइन पर बंदा नहीं हुसैन में रिक्शा से निकला रोवर मेरे रेंज में बैक बेंच वाले लड़के आए फ्रंट पेज पे तू सड़क के महारानी के बेस में मैं संजू बाबा वॉक करता हाथ रख के जेब में देख ले खलनायक में और गुस्से वाला फ्रैक्चर तेरा गैंग और मैं एम्बुलेंस में पहुंचने वाला ना आज कोई है न कल कोई है तेरे यार दा ता कोई कंपटीशन नहीं ना आज कोई है न कल कोई है तेरे यार दा ता कोई कंपटीशन नहीं competition nahi came from the bottom and we winning Sunday in no competition nahi we came from the bottom and we winning there ain't no competition कोई नहीं मुकाबला from the bottom निकला टॉप डाला पैसा तो मुनाफा माँ पे गाली सीधा लाफा रैप द नाका सुनते बांग्ला मुझे धाका मैं 5 स्टार के कपड़े पहन के खाता मैं हूँ धाबे पे स्ट्रीम्स हो या ड्रीम्स पूरा कामयाब मैं कोहली वाला माइंडसेट और धोनी जैसा शाप में हर पब में जी और गेम है मेरे हाथ में हंसता सीधा बैंक तक 50 वाले लाफ में हा भाई तू है वीक और मैं लेता हफ्ता खुद के तेरे हाथ नहीं तूने रखा चमचा पूरा गैंग है ग्राइमी हा टॉप सीधा शॉट्स तेरे ब्रेन में बॉम्बे दा बैड मुंडा पंजाब तक कैंट में नाम है डिवाइन पर बंदा नहीं हुसैन में रिक्शा से निकला रोवर मेरे रेंज में बैक बेंच वाले लड़के आए फ्रंट पेज पे तू सड़क के महारानी के बेस में मैं संजू बाबा वॉक करता हाथ रख के जेब में देख ले खलनायक में और गुस्से वाला फ्रैक्चर तेरा गैंग और मैं एम्बुलेंस में पहुंचने वाला ना आज कोई है न कल कोई है तेरे यार दा ता कोई कंपटीशन नहीं ना आज कोई है न कल कोई है तेरे यार दा ता कोई कंपटीशन नहीं competition nahi from the bottom and we winning Sunday in no competition nahi we came from the bottom and we winning there ain't no competition कोई नहीं मुकाबला from the bottom निकला टॉप डाला पैसा तो मुनाफा माँ पे गाली सीधा लाफा रैप द नाका सुनते बांग्ला मुझे धाका मैं 5 स्टार के कपड़े पहन के खाता मैं हूँ धाबे पे स्ट्रीम्स हो या ड्रीम्स पूरा कामयाब मैं कोहली वाला माइंडसेट और धोनी जैसा शाप में हर पब में जी और गेम है मेरे हाथ में हंसता सीधा बैंक तक 50 वाले लाफ में हा भाई तू है वीक और मैं लेता हफ्ता खुद के तेरे हाथ नहीं तूने रखा चमचा पूरा गैंग है ग्राइमी हा टॉप सीधा शॉट्स तेरे ब्रेन में बॉम्बे दा बैड मुंडा पंजाब तक कैंट में नाम है डिवाइन पर बंदा नहीं हुसैन में रिक्शा से निकला रोवर मेरे रेंज में बैक बेंच वाले लड़के आए फ्रंट पेज पे तू सड़क के महारानी के बेस में मैं संजू बाबा वॉक करता हाथ रख के जेब में देख ले खलनायक में और गुस्से वाला फ्रैक्चर तेरा गैंग और मैं एम्बुलेंस में पहुंचने वाला ना आज कोई है न कल कोई है तेरे यार दा ता कोई कंपटीशन नहीं ना आज कोई है न कल कोई है तेरे यार दा ता कोई कंपटीशन नहीं competition nahi from the bottom and we winning Sunday in no competition nahi we came from the bottom and we winning there ain't no competition कोई नहीं मुकाबला from the bottom निकला टॉप डाला पैसा तो मुनाफा माँ पे गाली सीधा लाफा रैप द नाका सुनते बांग्ला मुझे धाका मैं 5 स्टार के कपड़े पहन के खाता मैं हूँ धाबे पे स्ट्रीम्स हो या ड्रीम्स पूरा कामयाब मैं कोहली वाला माइंडसेट और धोनी जैसा शाप में हर पब में जी और गेम है मेरे हाथ में हंसता सीधा बैंक तक 50 वाले लाफ में हा भाई तू है वीक और मैं लेता हफ्ता खुद के तेरे हाथ नहीं तूने रखा चमचा पूरा गैंग है ग्राइमी हा टॉप सीधा शॉट्स तेरे ब्रेन में बॉम्बे दा बैड मुंडा पंजाब तक कैंट में नाम है डिवाइन पर बंदा नहीं हुसैन में रिक्शा से निकला रोवर मेरे रेंज में बैक बेंच वाले लड़के आए फ्रंट पेज पे तू सड़क के महारानी के बेस में मैं संजू बाबा वॉक करता हाथ रख के जेब में देख ले खलनायक में और गुस्से वाला फ्रैक्चर तेरा गैंग और मैं एम्बुलेंस में पहुंचने वाला ना आज कोई है न कल कोई है तेरे यार दा ता कोई कंपटीशन नहीं ना आज कोई है न कल कोई है तेरे यार दा ता कोई कंपटीशन नहीं competition nahi came from the bottom and we winning Sunday in no competition nahi we came from the bottom and we winning there ain't no competition कोई नहीं मुकाबला from the bottom निकला टॉप डाला पैसा तो मुनाफा माँ पे गाली सीधा लाफा रैप द नाका सुनते बांग्ला मुझे धाका मैं 5 स्टार के कपड़े पहन के खाता मैं हूँ धाबे पे स्ट्रीम्स हो या ड्रीम्स पूरा कामयाब मैं कोहली वाला माइंडसेट और धोनी जैसा शाप मैं हर पब में जी और गेम है मेरे हाथ में हंसता सीधा बैंक तक 50 वाले लाफ में हा भाई तू है वीक और मैं लेता हफ्ता खुद के तेरे हाथ नहीं तूने रखा चमचा पूरा गैंग है ग्राइमी हा टॉप सीधा शॉट्स तेरे ब्रेन में बॉम्बे द बैड मुंडा पंजाब तक कैंट में नाम है डिवाइन पर बंदा नहीं हुसैन में रिक्शा से निकला रोवर मेरे रेंज में बैक बेंच वाले लड़के आए फ्रंट पेज पे तू सड़क के महारानी के बेस में मैं संजू बाबा वॉक करता हाथ रख के जेब में देख ले खलनायक में और गुस्से वाला फ्रैक्चर तेरा गैंग और मैं एम्बुलेंस में पहुंचने वाला ना आज कोई है न कल कोई है तेरे यार दा ता कोई कंपटीशन नहीं ना आज कोई है न कल कोई है तेरे यार दा ता कोई कंपटीशन नहीं competition नहीं from the bottom and we winning Sunday in the competition नहीं we came from the bottom and we winning there ain't no competition कोई नहीं मुकाबला from the bottom निकला टॉप डाला पैसा तो मुनाफा माँ पे गाली सीधा लाफा रैप द नाका सुनते बांग्ला मुझे धाका मैं 5 स्टार के कपड़े पहन के खाता मैं हूँ धाबे पे स्ट्रीम्स हो या ड्रीम्स पूरा कामयाब मैं कोहली वाला माइंडसेट और धोनी जैसा शाप मैं हर पब में जी और गेम है मेरे हाथ में हंसता सीधा बैंक तक 50 वाले लाफ में हा भाई तू है वीक और मैं